Hi Year 5, it's me, Mrs. Saleh, and it's my turn this week to do the video for you to explain your home learning. I hope you've managed to enjoy some of the sunshine this weekend. It's been lovely today, so I hope you've been out in the sun. Okay, I've also created something a little bit different to explain the videos this week. I made an emoji classroom, so I hope you enjoy experiencing the tasks through this little bit of fun that I've indulged in. Anyway, here we go. Hi Year 5, welcome to the Year 5 Bitmoji classroom. I hope you like it. Here is the classroom that I'm going to use to explain to you all your tasks for the coming week. So first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you and a well done to everybody that's contributed to our Year 5 Celebration Assembly. The work has been flooding in and it's been really good quality, so super well done, and keep it up. We'd love to see more of it coming in for next week, and do look out for the video that will be coming out on Monday. Now, to get to this week's home learning, you need to get onto the Year 5 Google Drive, and you need to click on week 14, week commencing the 22nd of June. And I'd like you to go into the explanation task, which is the one I'm pointing to on the screen. So if you go into there, you'll see that the first task that I talk about is maths. And this week's maths is a little bit of a mixture. We've already covered the first two tasks. So we've put two alternate lessons in, which are on tables. Okay, so let's have a little look. If you come out of the explanation task and you go into the Maths This Week folder, you will see we've got all the worksheets and the answer sheets that you will need for the week. So lesson 1 is all about reading and interpreting tables, something that we've done before. And if you watch the video, for which the link is just below those pink bars in the explanation text, it should be quite clear. Lesson 2 is two-way tables, something a little bit more tricky, but again, watch the video. And just remember, the key to it is making sure you really understand what that table is about. Read the axis, what are they telling you, and make sure you've checked the title so that you can see what that two-way table is actually showing you. Then lesson 3 and lesson 4 are all about multiplying and dividing decimals, okay? And we're multiplying them by 10, 100 and 1,000. So when we multiply or divide by 10, 100 and 1,000, if we're multiplying, we're going to make the number bigger, okay, because we'll have more of them. And if we're dividing, we're going to make it smaller. Now, if you need some help in seeing this, then if you scroll down on the explanation text, you will come to a link to MathsBot place value tables. And if you click on that link, it will take you into something that looks like this. And if you see where my big blue hand is pointing, I have clicked on grid, that's where that blue dot is, and that's given me this place value grid here so that I can lay out my place value counters to represent the number that I'm going to multiply by 10, 100 or 1,000. Now here I'm going to be multiplying, so I'm going to be making 4.5 bigger by a multiple of 10. And in order to do that, all the counters in my place value grid are going to have to move one place to the left. They're going to get bigger. So if I multiply every one by 10, each of them is going to become 10. And if I multiply by 0.1s by 10, then 10 0.1s make a whole one. So each of those is going to become 1. So it's going to look like this. So I've now got 4 10s, okay, which is 40, and 5 1s, which is 5. So I've got 45 altogether. So 4.5 times 10 is 45. Now, when you are multiplying or dividing, if you end up with any empty columns, okay, then when you record that number, you must put a placeholder 0 in, okay? All right, let's move. The next is the English task, which is covered on a separate video. Now, also in the folder is some reading tasks. There are 2 comprehensions this week. One is based on a different superhero, Kangaroo Kid, and the other is an information text on garden birds. And we chose this so that you could see how many birds you could spot in your gardens or on walks through parks or woods. Now, also, if you have read any really good books, we'd really like to hear about them. Perhaps you could write a book review and send them in to go in our celebration assembly so we can share those good books with other people in the year group so that they've got some ideas about what they could be reading. Okay, also in the folder on the Google Drive is the Year 5 Art Home Learning. I'm not going to actually go through it, it's pretty clear from the PDF, but this week's task is all about origami and paper folding to create some butterflies. So have a little look, see what you can make. You might even want to decorate them with some ideas from butterflies you might have seen in your garden or out on your walks, okay? And do send pictures of them in so that we can see them and perhaps celebrate them in the celebration assembly. Okay, next up, Mr. Whoops spelling mistakes. Now again, you've done many of these, okay, but this week it gets a little bit more challenging because we finished the year 3-4 spellings and we're now moving on to the year 5-6 list. So make sure you check through carefully as you're reading Mr. Whoops, thinking about each word and how it should be spelt and sounding it out and thinking about the spelling rules that we've learnt. I've also put a lesson in there with some tasks, which is based on common prefixes. The prefixes we're going to look at this week are IR, IM, IN and IL. So have a little look at that and have a go at the challenge. And there are 2 SPAG tasks. The first SPAG task is the usual one on the SPAG mat. And the second one is a little mini quiz for you to have a go at, and the answers are there on the Google Drive as well. Next up is the computing task, and this time we're going to break down the journey into small steps to reach our goal. We did this with each algorithm for point scoring and movement as we designed the background and characters when we were creating games in school. Now your job is to complete one of the tasks on the next flip, to keep practicing the skill of decomposition, which is all about breaking a job into smaller parts. So there are 5 different ones to choose from. So you might, I'm not going to go through all of them, but the first one is, could you draw something in your home? Okay, and then label it into all its different parts. So breaking it down in all the different parts that make up that object. Secondly, I'm sure you've made flick books before. That's when you have a book of paper and on the first page you draw a little stick man doing something, and on the next page you draw exactly the same one but with one little thing changed, and then you do the same on the next page and so on. And then when you flick through, it actually looks like your flick man is moving. Okay, and that's breaking down an action, okay, into lots of different parts of the movement. My favourite one though is the last one, the dodgy dance moves. So you might want to think of a dance such as the YMCA or the Macarena, and to learn the moves you need to break the song down and to see what you should be doing at each point in the music. Okay, so have a little look. I'd definitely be going for the Macarena on this one. So have a read and see what you can come up with. Okay, next, science. We're carrying on science, looking at growing older. And last week we asked you to fill in an online survey looking at what age people think is old. Now we've collected the results in and we've shared them on the task sheet. Have a look and see if your chosen age was one of the top 3. Nowadays, people are living much longer than they have in the past. So try to think about the reasons for this and what could be having a positive impact on our lives. And there's lots of information in the science PDF on the Google Drive. And then, having read through all that information, your task will be looking at what if one day most people lived to be over 100. And I want you to create a table or a podcast, a video, or any other thing you want to do to explore the positives, the negatives, and what might be just interesting. We're very intrigued to see what you come up with, so make sure you share. And then geography. Geography this week is following on with our theme of mountains, and it's all about how mountains are made. So there are 5 main types of mountains: fold mountains, fault block mountains, volcanic mountains, dome mountains and plateau mountains, and each one is formed differently. So if you go through the flip chart that's in the Google Drive, it explains all the different ways that mountains are created. And then your task is to create a poster, or you might want to make a PowerPoint to explain the different mountain types and how they're formed. You can draw it by hand, you can create it on your computer, you can be as creative as you want to be. And there's also an optional extra task in the folder where you can make mountains if you want to. And there's some success criteria to help you to decide whether you've made a good job of it or not. Finally, da-dan! Well done to Oliver and Y5S on a brilliant times table rockstar performance. Oliver was the highest scorer for the week, and my class Y5S, well done. Jake and Ewan and Caitlin and Sophia May helped us become the champions for this week. So well done. Keep it up. Keep logging on and playing on Times Table Rockstars. And finally, pics, please. Please send them in to our email address, which I've put on my whiteboard in my classroom. And I just want to say au revoir. Have a great week. Enjoy your learning. Enjoy getting outside. Have time with your family. We miss you all. Take care. Have fun. Bye.